أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الصلاة والسلام على رسولنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وأتباعه وسلم السلام عليكم ورحمة الله جزاكم الله خيرا on-site people for coming in this rain and like you barakah to our discussion inshallah. So this is the third week that we have been discussing about the term or the concept taqwa in Quran, which is translated generally as God consciousness. So since William is new today, a very brief overview of what we discussed before. So Quran talks about people of taqwa, and initially in the very second page of Quran, it mentions Quran as a scripture upon which there is no doubt, but it's a guidance unto those who have taqwa. Like this is the book for people who have taqwa. Then question becomes, what is taqwa? And then Quran starts describing they are those who believe in the unseen, they establish worship, they give charity, and then they believe in what has been revealed to you and to those before you, and they are certain of the hereafter. And then it concludes by saying such are untrue guidance from their Lord, and such are the truly successful. So this both defines what is guidance, what is success, but as the key, taqwa is mentioned in here. And to give a 2-minute overview of what we discussed before, like at the beginning of the term, the professor says this class is for that type of a student, like in the very first lecture, explains what type of student he is interested in, and then mentions that student type as those who are aware of certain things. The way we were introducing this was student might be unaware of what they are. Like you might be officially enrolled to the university as a student, but you are there just for hanging around. Like you're not really a student, although technically you're a student, but you're not there to learn anything. So in this regard, you are not aware of what you are. Second, are you aware of who the teacher is? Some students are taking the teacher very lightly. This guy doesn't know anything, type of a thing. But if you know that the teacher is the best in the field, best of the best across the globe, then you will pay extra attention to what the teacher is saying. So Quran speaks to you. So first you get to know who you are. Second, who is speaking to me in Quran? The one who knows me, who made me. So this is why he knows me better than anyone. He is speaking to me. So this is how we introduced the topic of taqwa. Then last week we talked about how to attain taqwa. And fasting was one such thing mentioned. And worship is another thing that was mentioned as ways to attain taqwa. We talked about that last week, so I'm not going to repeat that. Oh, and also another thing that we discussed last week was sacrificing animals is mentioned as a something that comes from taqwa of the heart. And these were the symbols. So this is another thing that we mentioned as taqwa. But today, inshallah, I would like to bring up the garment of taqwa, as Quran mentions it. It's from Surah Al-A'raf. يا بني آدم قد أنزلنا عليكم لباسا يواري سوآتكم وريشا. O children of Adam, indeed we have sent down to you a garment which covers your shame and provides protection and adornment. وَلِبَاسُ التَّقْوَى ذَلِكَ خَيْرٌ ذَلِكَ مِنْ آيَاتِ اللَّهِ لَعَلَّهُمْ يَذَّكَّرُونَ. But the finest of all is the garment of taqwa, that is one of the signs of Allah, so that you may take heed. So here it's talking about clothing of taqwa. So we talked about taqwa in so many different ways so far, but what does it mean that we are talking about garment of taqwa? In the meantime, I need to check one thing really quick. Yep. Yep. So this verse, Surah Al-A'raf, is coming in the story of Adam alayhi salam. So right after Surah, where the creation of human is explained. So let's remember that story. So the creator is explaining it as a conversation with the angels, and saying that I'm going to create a vicegerent, if you like, a representative, a khalifa on earth. And then angels say, are you going to create someone that which will shed blood and cause mischief on earth, cause corruption on earth? Then the creator says, I know that which you do not know. Then Adam alayhi salam is created, and names are taught to him. So then the creator invites angels or challenges angels, saying that, tell me the name of these things if you are truthful. And then they say, we do not know other than which you taught us. You are all-knowing, all-wise. And then asks to Adam alayhi salam, and Adam gives the name of things. Then the creator says to angels, prostrate to Adam. Angels prostrate, but Iblis, Satan, does not. In this picture, the creator says to Adam, you dwell in paradise, but do not get close to this tree. In this setup, Satan goes, like Iblis goes, and tells to Adam, you know why your creator did not want you to get close to this tree? If you were to eat from it, you will become eternal, or you will become an angel. Then they slipped with this trickery, and they tasted from the tree. At this point, they realized their nakedness, and they started covering themselves up with leaves of paradise. So then they repent, and then the creator says, okay, go down to earth, descend down to earth, and you will stay there. The verse comes after this, which is saying, O children of Adam, indeed, we have sent down to you a garment which covers your shame and provides protection and adornment. But the finest of all is the garment of taqwa. That is one of the signs of Allah, so that they may take heed. So, in this context, how shall we understand? And of course, the story is very loaded. Human's creation story is very loaded. But what does it mean that they were trying to cover themselves up with leaves of paradise? Number one. Number two, now the creator is saying that we have sent down you garments, like clothing, but the best of the clothing is clothing of taqwa. What do you think? How shall we understand this clothing of taqwa? A good amount of our monthly or maybe yearly expenses are for buying good clothes. So what does it mean to buy?
Ours.
Not ours, yeah. Yeah. So what is the garment of taqwa? So that next time when we go to the shopping mall, say, oh, give me some taqwa brand clothes. we can start from the beginning if you like. What does it mean that covering our shame? How do we cover our shameful parts? And what does it mean that trying to cover it with leaves versus making a garment of taqwa? Any idea? Nibras, what do you think?
I missed the context.
Okay. So in the story of humans' creation, because that story is your story, my story, and we are sent down to, like, we are created, we are taught names, and Satan tricked us. When does Satan trick someone, by the way? Like, what sort of a trickery is that? Don't eat from this tree. If you eat from the tree, you will become eternal. Has Satan ever tricked you with this trick? Or since you read it from Quran, you're experienced and you caught Satan saying, haha, you cannot trick me, man. This is an old, very old trick. And I know about it. I read about it. You cannot trick me. Or did he also trick you? He did not trick you?
Not with this one.
Not with this one. Okay. So, yes, Sister Zareen.
Oh, I was just gonna maybe provide a very faulty example.
Go ahead.
But I was thinking of like moments when I might be on social media, for example, and I see an ad of this high quality vacuum cleaner that will get rid of all of the germs in your apartment. And I'm like, that sounds great, and I need that. I think this will fulfill my need for having a clean apartment. So I buy the vacuum and then I try it out and it turns out it's not as great as it was advertised. So I feel like maybe the trick is related to some like misdirection of like trying to pretend something will fulfill a need of yours when it doesn't have that capability.
Mm-hmm. That's good. That's good. So some ads are faulty. Maybe some others are a little more accurate. But in this case, in general, human, like if you go back to the story, the creator says, don't get close to this tree. So there's something, and it's just some arbitrary tree, as if so it says, don't get close to that tree over there. It does not provide any context, any reason, just says don't get close to it. That's all it is. And then Satan comes and brings up an excuse saying that, you know why he said it like this? Because if you were to eat from it, you would become an angel or you would become eternal. So why is that a trick? Because once they eat from it, they realize that it didn't give them eternity or they didn't become angels, right? But sometimes this is how we think about things as well. Like if there are things that I say, oh, if I buy this car, I'm going to feel great. Like if I, actually a friend of mine gave this exact example, a real life example. So he was aiming for buying a Ferrari and whatnot, but he ended up buying a Jaguar. And he said 1 month into driving my Jaguar, I was driving it New Jersey highway, he says. Then I realized that I'm not feeling anything. He says, was this the point? Like I thought I would reach some ultimate satisfaction when I buy Jaguar. 1 month has passed and I don't feel anything. Like this sense of if I get there, it's going to make me eternally satisfied. If I get the title, if I marry the specific person or whatever, like many things that we want to achieve in life, we feel like if I do that, I'm going to be complete. I'm going to be eternal. Like eternity in here means I am fully, thoroughly satisfied. Many such things happen in our lives. But Have we not fallen for this trick so far? So many times we fell for it. Like whatever we yearn for, even sometimes it is like when you're so hungry or you're so thirsty, you say, oh, all I want is water. But temporarily it gives you a satisfaction, but it's not staying with you eternally. So Satan's trick in here is that it's going to give you eternal satisfaction, but there's nothing that gives us eternal satisfaction. This is what we notice when we touch that tree. Let it be, I don't know, the car, let it be the person that I would like to marry or whatever it is. I sense that, oh, it was a false premise. And as I touch it, I realize that, what do I realize? Other than realizing that I am tricked. In the story, Adam and Eve are realizing their nakedness or shameful parts. How does this work? Like my friend, once he was driving the car in New Jersey highway, what sort of nakedness did he realize? Okay, he was tricked. This is one thing that he realized about how he fell for such a false promise. But apart from that, what did he notice about himself as nakedness? Because the clothing of Taqwa is supposedly going to cover this nakedness. What is it that we notice as our nakedness at such moments?
I apologize for the in the previous ayahs talk about the shame and nakedness that you showed. Could we check whether they use the same word for shame like a sawat?
فدلهما بغرور فلما ذاقا الشجرة بدت لهما سوآتهما.
Yes, and how it is used there? Like a translation, the entire context.
Say so private parts or shameful parts, like their private parts. But
they saw there.
Yeah. So they realized that was hidden from them. They didn't know about these private parts or shame parts. But then with that, they realize it.
You didn't know that.
Sort of. One thing that this can be understood before we go into my friend's private parts. This is generally happening to people when we realize like age 13, 14, adolescents. Like these are the time that you realize about certain aspects of yourself, about your sexuality and whatnot, which you didn't experience before. So this, if I take this story as human story, saying that you were created in paradise, which children are in paradise. They're not worried, concerned. They're not facing the life as much. But then as the adolescents start kicking in, what's happening is now I have a desire for certain things. And in this paradise, the owner of the paradise says, don't get close to this tree, draws a boundary. And this boundary is, in our practical life, many of the times are about our desires. So you can eat from here, but don't eat that specific one. But it so much happens that we have this tendency to say that, oh, but I would like to try this as well. And this happens very much so. If you look at the society, you will see it. If you check yourself, you will realize it when it comes to sexuality, for example. So, well, if I do this, I'm going to get satisfied. But never there's this eternal satisfaction that was being promoted out there. And I guess going back to Sister Zerin's example, like a vacuum cleaner, but you just extrapolate it and look at all the advertisement industry out there, like how women is being used in there, although they are selling a vacuum cleaner, but who vacuums is not just like, you never vacuum your house when you are so much makeup and everything. You just vacuum your home and you are, I don't know, you know how you are when you're at home. So what are trying to be ignited in such an advertisement? It's not only the vacuum cleaner, but your desires are being excited to say that, well, this is the satisfaction you're looking for. But when you take a bite from it, you realize that there's no eternal satisfaction whatsoever. Then you realize your nakedness. Now, in this context, as our, I guess, development as human beings, this is something that we start experiencing more so in the stages of adolescence. But also when I'm driving this car, the new car that I bought, now zooming in, just a specific case of it. I bought the car. I thought once I get the car, I will feel satisfied. Maybe a few drives, I was enjoying it, but after some time, it just becomes so dull. Where is nakedness here? Why is it the nakedness? So, William, what do you think? Were you tricked by Satan so far then?
Yeah.
With the same trick?
Yes.
Yeah, so this is our story. Like it sounds like a creation story. Yes, it is, but your creation story, because you are Adam or son of Adam. It's really explaining your story and how the same old trick works so well for us because it's us. So in this regard, can we say that when my friend was driving his car, or apply to yourself for whatever you desired so much, and you realized that it was a trick? As you're driving the car and you realize that it's not satisfying you, what is it that you're noticing about yourself? One of the things that comes to mind is I have so much of a unending need out there, and this super expensive car is not covering it. And I don't have anything to fill this need either. Like best of the cars, still, it's not going to satisfy me. You can extrapolate it. Because probably when you were a small kid, when your dad first bought you a bike, you were super satisfied. Now you are at your age, you bought your first secondhand car, you feel comfortable about it, but none of them give you this perfect satisfaction. You can extrapolate it. If you were to get the best Rolls Royce or something, like the trajectory keeps going, and actually there's diminishing returns. The more you gain, the less it gives you a taste. Maybe your first bike is more exciting to you than your updated car after a certain point. But what is the point? I am realizing this gap in me, this extreme neediness in me. I am so needy. I am in need of everything, actually. If you give 5, I will ask for 10 more. If you give 10, I will ask for 100. Because people would like to think that they are like not incomplete, but complete. Like if I say, Nibras, your clothes backside is torn, you will feel a little like ashamed. Oh, you're talking about something that's missing in my cloth. It's bad. Does it look bad? You would say, like, if I sit like this, does it appear from behind? You would like to try to hide it. But if I say, oh, Nibras, your cloth is good, you would like to show it to others. Like if I say you are positive, you're good, you would like to show off. But if I say you're missing something, you would like to hide it. This is how we are. Actually, that thing, that Satan's trick, make us realize that we are missing. Despite our self-image, which we thought, oh, I was good, I was strong, and whatnot, I'm realizing that actually I am nothing but needy. And nothing is satisfying that need. Any comments? That is human's nakedness then. Like human is realizing, yeah.
Going to your the example of like if you give me 100, I will ask for 1,000. When we read this story, these ayahs about Adam, Satan, how Satan says, "You created me from fire and wood from the clay." And when we read it truly about us, so that Satan becomes a aspect that I have as well.
Mm.
In that context, it's like when you think about it, our desires are really like created out of fire. Because no matter how much you feed the fire, it will always consume, like it can consume more. There's no such thing as, we were talking about that, probably you gave this example, I don't know. When you put wood in the fire, it will consume the wood. If you put more, it will consume it as well. There is no such thing in the fire, in this chemical reaction, that the fire reaches its saturation, that it cannot accept more wood. There's no such thing. More wood you put, it will ask for more. Right? So our desires in that sense are really created out of fire, metaphorically speaking. And everything about us, everything else, our maybe the heart, our reasoning, and etc. They are from this clay, the humble. Yeah. And within this trick, so our desires are like always comes with a trickery justification. Right? Nobody would do something bad, let's say, fully knowing. Right? Nobody is stupid. There will be always some justification coming from the fire side. But come on, Birkan, just one transaction. Who cares if there is interest or not? Right? It will help you building your career, and then you can help Muslim people. Like there will be always this trickery mechanism coming from our desires. And it also shows how naked our reasoning is as well. Like just give some stupid justification and it will fall for it. We need constant guidance of taqwa, making our reasoning being conscious. Be conscious of yourself. Don't think every argument you come up with is a solid argument. Don't fall into it just because you think you are clever. Don't come up with some reasons. Just follow what is given to you. Be conscious about your weakness.
Yes. And in this case, we trying to cover our nakedness with leaves of the garden is interesting. Because as a follow-up here, the Creator says, yes, we have sent down to you a garment which covers your shame. So, like making a cloth out of leaves is not a good idea. Like, I mean, the reason that all those paintings you see Adam with a leaf, this is where that imagery is coming from. And trying to cover up yourself with leaf, because leaves are like, how are you going to stitch them together? Like, but this is what we try to do. Like, if I'm realizing that I fail, like if I go with my toy example of the car, maybe I say, well, maybe it's because of this car. The car's model is not good. Or I will try to find some other excuse to cover up this existential nakedness that I have, which is no matter which car it would have been, it wouldn't satisfy me. This is my reality. But I am trying to cover it up with, 2017 model Jaguars are not what I was specifically looking for. Maybe I should try, like, I don't know, a 2018 model, but this time try with Porsche rather than Jaguar. Like, I'm trying to come up with certain excuses to cover up this nakedness. I do not confess to myself that actually I was wrong. I was infinitely needy. Sometimes this happens with, I said, oh, if I graduate from high school, I would feel satisfied. I didn't. And then, but yeah, when it comes to college, if I graduate from college, I go comfortably on earth. College graduation, master's, PhD, whatever you take, you always say, oh, maybe this didn't cover, but that will cover. So I'm just trying to come up with excuses which never covers it up. The creator says, okay, we created these for covering you. And as it's also like some beautifying thing for you. But what is the best of those that covers? If you would like to cover your nakedness, taqwa is going to cover up. How come taqwa is covering our nakedness then? In the light of what we have discussed as taqwa for the past 2 weeks, if I'm going to use the translation, I mean, it's more than God consciousness, but let's say God consciousness. How does God consciousness become a clothing that covers my nakedness, which protects me from this shame or missingness that I have? It's going to protect me from cold, from whatever out there. And it's going to also be something that beautifies me, because garments are there for hiding the private parts and also for beautifying. So how come that taqwa is going to make me beautiful? What do you think? Really?
Muslim fashion.
Muslim fashion? Oh yeah. Muslim fashion. Actually, we should start a brand and name it Taqwa. And then we put this verse, Libasu Taqwa, dhalika khayr. This is our motto. Quran commands you to buy our clothing. If you don't buy from us, you are kafir. We just quote the extremities.
It's only for a new thing too. Your business,
Libasu Taqwa.
What was your question?
So how come the clothing of taqwa in such a case is being like hiding those shameful parts of human, it's existential shame or existential neediness? How come taqwa is going to cover it up? How could taqwa help my friend when he was driving his Jaguar in New Jersey highway?
I don't know if I have the understanding of that.
My friend had a self-image which he thought he would feel good when he was driving this car, which is he's coming from he's an immigrant in here, coming from all the way from a food truck business. And now he has this impression that if I drive Jaguar, I am going to be one of the elect people of the society. I was nobody in the society. No one respected me. I was just a food truck guy. But if I drive Jaguar, then I would be more. I would become more of a human being, or even like masters among the masters, right? But once he started driving Jaguar, he realized that nothing has changed in him. It didn't make him anymore. Like that false image that he was trying to become something better, something more. Because same thing goes with, why would people aim for becoming a president? Like, who is aiming for becoming a president to serve the people? People would like to become president because it's cool. Like you're being the king, you're being the ruler, you're being superior than the rest of the people, right? My friend probably, in this toy example, wanted to drive Jaguar to be a little bit of a president among us, like better than us. But he realizes that he is the same here. Nothing has changed. Jaguar didn't make him anymore. Jaguar didn't make him an angel, or Jaguar didn't make him Like it didn't make him a superhuman. It didn't give him eternal satisfaction. But if I were to cover myself with, rather than a jaguar, if I were to cover my existential neediness with God consciousness, meaning in this existence, I am so much needed to the oxygen that I breathe, that every heartbeat that is taking place. Like right now, if my heart were to not beat for 2-3 seconds, I'll just collapse here. I'm so much in need of everything in this existence. And I am eternally thankful to one who keeps fulfilling all these. I am not ashamed before him of any of these needs. And actually, if somebody comes and says, Yusuf, you know what? Your eyes, your hearing, your thoughts, and everything, they're not yours at all. They're being given to you. Like they are showing me my shame, saying that you thought you're too smart. You have nothing actually. All the ideas you have are being given to you. Like if somebody tells this to you for the last academic paper you have written, it feels like you are being blamed with plagiarism, right? Those ideas do not belong to you. So normally you would be ashamed of it. But if I am conscious of myself and their clothing of taqwa, God consciousness, I would say, indeed it is. I am being given. And I am proud of the one that keeps giving it to me. That neediness of mine, I am declaring it actually. I'm not hiding it anymore. My neediness becomes, if you like, my capital in this case. It's not a liability, it's an asset. Is that the correct use of the word? Okay, if I put them in the sentence, that's good. So it's something that I wouldn't like to hide. It's not a missing part anymore. Or it's not something to be ashamed of. It's something to be thankful for. Libasu taqwa. If I clothe myself with this God consciousness, then I won't seek satisfaction in the car. I won't seek satisfaction in the title that I will receive, in the baskets that I will score. But the moment you're trying to score a basket, you realize that, oh, I need this to be scored, that neediness, and you say that the one who gives me the need gives the score as well, and I am thankful for that. I am proud of my provider, sustainer, to create me in this type of relationship. So somebody comes and says, oh, you're not a skilled person at all. You say, yes, I am not. Those skills do not belong to me. I am being given them. And I am thankful. And I am, if you like, proud of being a beggar before him. This is not something that I am ashamed of. This is something that I am proud of. Taqwa, clothing of taqwa is putting, if you like, this shield around you existentially as well. Now you're enjoying every single score that you make. Whatever car you are driving, let it be Jaguar, let it be, I don't know, some 2003 Passat. But you're saying that I am being provided with this. Because whether it is 2003 Passat or 2025, I don't know, Porsche,
There is a difference.
like how different they are if you put it on the scale, because somebody will put something more, but in an infinite need, for an infinite needy human being, these are finite distances. So in infinite distance, any finite distance is just nothing. So it's not a huge difference in this regard. Even if I were to drive Passat or Jaguar, at some point, 5, 10, 20 days later, I will start feeling the same dull feeling. What Adam felt. Realize my nakedness. But if I wear clothing of taqwa, meaning I am conscious of my provider, whichever car I am driving, whichever title I receive, whatever sort of a thing that I receive in this life, I will be realizing, acknowledging my neediness, and I will be thankful for the provider. So this missing thing becomes source of my joy rather than source of my shame. garment of taqwa. Any comments? Yeah, so this was then the two of them ate on another place from Surah Taha. They ate from the fruit of that tree, and their shameful parts become revealed to each other, and they began to cover themselves with the leaves from the garden. Thus Adam disobeyed his Lord and strayed in error. Another example for clothing of taqwa is like there are one example of clothing is in the story of Ibrahim alayhi salam, Adam alayhi salam. Another one is Ibrahim alayhi salam was thrown into fire. And this verse says in Surah Al-Anbiya, the previous verse was also, Surah Al-A'raf, this is Surah Al-Anbiya, قُلْنَا يَا نَارُ كُونِي بَرْدًا وَسَلَامًا عَلَى إِبْرَاهِيمَ. We said, "O fire, become coolness and safety for Abraham." So he was thrown into fire and he didn't burn. What does this story tell us? Like, you're thrown into fire, you didn't burn. We can extrapolate this, like he didn't burn, his clothing didn't burn as well. So how did his clothing didn't burn? And when it comes to me, what sort of a clothing shall I make so that my clothes are also not going to burn? Like, how can I make something personal out of this story of Ibrahim being thrown into fire and fire being coolness to him, and me being thrown into fire? So what sort of a shield shall I make for myself? And in this regard, I would like to make an analogy with, again, garment of taqwa. Ibrahim alayhi salam's story, in his story, he had a cloth which didn't burn either. Like, he came out of fire not naked, with a cloth. Like, the one who didn't burn him didn't burn his cloth as well. But when it comes to us, what are the fires that we are being thrown into in today's life, and how clothing of taqwa can become a shield which will protect us from such fires? I guess, yeah, Suzanne, please go.
I was just thinking of Brother Khan's comment earlier about desires being like burning like fire, and there's no they'll keep eating up more wood. So I was wondering, like, would this garment of taqwa then become something that protects from that type of like fire, if that we can like extract the fire to mean those types of like fires from our desires, and shield us from wanting to seek more of whatever we're seeking in life, essentially.
Mm-hmm. Yes, very beautiful. That's like, in this life, especially in this society, we are really thrown into this fire where so many things, my desires are like asking for so many things, or I am made to desire so many things in the society life.
You're filled, like your desires are filled with external things as well. Like, nobody leaves you alone. They just put more gasoline. So that it will burn harder.
Mm-hmm. So as you are thrown into, let's say, public life with kindergarten, as a child in the society, you would like to have this or that. Like nowadays, for example, my daughter says, "Oh, my friends have tablets." And yes, his daughter has a tablet.
No, she doesn't. She's using mine.
Yes. So this is one of the things that she sees out there and feels like, oh, this is something that I should achieve and it's going to give me satisfaction. And then she sees a bicycle. Somebody is riding bicycle in Clark Park. Oh yeah, your daughter also has a bicycle. Okay, yes, we bought a bicycle after you guys did. Okay, it looks like we found the gift to people who is burning the fire.
I'm taking you revenge of
Oh, yeah.
previous
Fires.
experiences. we have.
Okay. So this is how it starts, but it never stops there. Like so many things, so many norms in this society. You need to, I guess I'm just going with the material stuff, but you need to renew your phone, the clothing, this or that, your car, but also social status. So are you, today I was talking to a student. Oh, I'm bringing up about my students too much here, but student asked for a certain reference letter. I invited the student to my office and I reminded him that I caught him not once, but twice from cheating. So in this case, it's not a good idea for me to.
He's applying for she's applying for a job where cheating is good. So expecting you to write on this.
He was applying for a teaching assistant position. So and then
He's good with catching the
So okay, where was I going with that student? So oh yeah, then student come up with a excuse, interesting excuse. He said that I am able to solve your assignments, but I saw that I put a lot of effort and do it after several hours, but then saw that my other friends who are cheating and getting the same score, I thought I will do the same and I will invest my time on this other practice. And that other practice means rather than doing a full-blown assignment, doing small lead code, like small one function, small jobs, small tasks, which you can finish in 1 hour, 2 hours at most. I said, look, you see the point? If you were able to solve the large problem itself, you would do it. I mean, the way I caught the student is I asked the same question in the final exam, and whomever didn't answer it properly in the exam, yet got 100 in the assignment means they didn't do it. Because if they did it for 15 hours, they would know how to answer those questions. So he said, then, as the conversation unfolded, said, then we can never be successful. And I said, what is success? How do you define success? Success in worldly life is getting into a good job. But you're lying to get into that good job. Put yourself in the shoes of the person who is going to hire you. You're trying to hire someone. The guy comes with a shiny CV, but it turns out that he's just a liar. How would you feel about that? Then the way I talk probably understood it as, oh, then we should just leave the world altogether and not receive anything. How interesting it is. Success is defined as worldly success. Like success is worldly success, first of all. This is how it is defined. Second, since people achieve it by lying and stealing, I would do the same. I asked the question as, if everybody were stealing money from this bank in the corner, would you go and steal? He said, no, it's a different thing. I said, no, it is the same thing. Like your friend, by cheating, is harming you. He says, if I steal, I would harm others. But in this case, by cheating, I'm not harming others. I said, no, your friend is harming you. If you don't cheat, him cheating is superficially showing him better than you, so it's harming you. It's the same thing. That was an interesting conversation in the sense that how do we define success? And to achieve the success, how I sacrifice everything. Bringing back to our topic, the fire around us is this worldly success, the picture of worldly success. It is defined as, since people in here are familiar with publications, like in academia, you have to publish more and more and more, but it comes to a point that it is beyond what human can do. Then what shall I do? Shall I start being mean to people that I work with? Because now I will get into inhumane expectations from them. It's not going to be 40 hours, but they should work 70 hours. Then as I start getting into this inhumane expectations from them, then they will start cutting corners, maybe. They will start cheating or making up results and whatnot. So, but then I say, what shall I do though? Otherwise, I'm not going to be able to get grants. So I'm justified. The person is also justified because it says, well, impossible. Like within 70 hours working, I'm not able to publish. And shall I get deported or shall I just make it up somehow? I don't care about whatever it is. I just want to save my skin, the person says. So that in this fire, as we put things into this fire, this is how we find ourselves in academia, for instance. How do I put a shield that's going to protect me from this fire? What is success, proper success? Because my clothing should be something that I wouldn't be buying into that type of fire. That fire cannot burn me. Because if I buy into this description of success, the fire consumes me. But if I say, no, I do not consider that type as success. Because Prophet ﷺ, because he was saying, how am I going to do that? Prophet ﷺ lived in a society in which he came up with this message, but elders of the society was saying that, no, stop preaching this because it's going against our type of fire, our type of success. But he didn't cut corners. He didn't say that, although they offered him power, wealth, desires, whatever you want, just shut up, take this, you become our king. But stop preaching this message. He didn't say, let me strategize. If they give me the power, I'll just pretend that I'm going to keep it silent. I can keep this message in my heart anyways. Once I get the reins of the society, then I will unveil the truth and I will start preaching, for example. He didn't do that. This is our perception of success, though. Like our perception of success is numbers, how large society are becoming with my message. Because the moment he was to accept such a message, he would become one of them. He would have lost it. The fire will start consuming him because he is really removing the clothing of taqwa at this point. As long as you are God conscious, how can you not speak about the truth that was entrusted to you? Like Prophet was trusted with this message saying that, Nibras, I'm giving you this letter and you have to carry it to others. This is your responsibility. Then he hides the message for himself, or he distorts the message. This is what was expected of the messenger from the elders of Mecca. He didn't do that. At the end of 23 years, did he reach success, even in the worldly sense of the word success? Yes, he did. But many of the prophets did not. Like many of the prophets did not become rulers. Were they unsuccessful? No. Even if they had 1, 2 believers, they were successful. My student, if my student were not to cheat at all throughout his undergrad education and graduate with a 2.9 or 3.2 rather than a 3.99, would he be unsuccessful? Yes, according to the measures of the society. But that society is burning him anyways. Like even although he would be successful, but it would be a success within fire. Like I don't know, Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk, like top earners, how successful they are ultra rich for a life that is not going to probably happen for them any more than 20 extra years. And how much they enjoy their life? Question mark. You can extrapolate it from your joys. But if my student were to graduate with 3.2 rather than 399, yet be self-consistent in the sense that realizing that I am here to learn and I'm not going to lie. Because lying is, like cheating is lying. If I lie here, then probably I am lying to my creator as well. I can lie to anybody. Like if I lie at some point, this means, and if it doesn't disturb me, why shall I not lie to you? As long as I can find an excuse, because it looks like he has an excuse for cheating in my class, which is unjustified, yet for him it is justified. He can cheat anybody. I can cheat anybody in this case. So, but on the contrary, if God consciousness gets in and say that I am not going to lie because there is someone who sees me 24/7. I am before him. I'm not trying to impress anyone. My duty in here is to learn, to study and to learn. Whatever he gives, maybe he won't give anything to you in the worldly sense of success. But my investment is not for this life anyways, should not be for this life anyways. This is why, very interestingly, as we talked about in the first week, أولئك على هدى من ربهم وأولئك هم المفلحون. The very second page of Quran was mentioning that who are the successful. It was defining what success is. The verses started with muttaqin. Muttaqin are the people who are successful. So redefining success. So in this regard, if I redefine the success as being God conscious and what that entails, even if I'm going to appear like a loser, that is success. Taqwa produces success. Because even if we think about Prophet ﷺ, because since that student was asking, shall we never live in good houses or whatever? I said, Prophet himself lived a life, and I gave the example of my office, which is 1/3 of this room. I said, Prophet's house, the room that he lived in was even smaller than that, because when he was praying for tahajjud, when he goes to sajda, he needed to just move his wife's feet side to go to sajda. Like imagine maybe it's like some room-like thing, maybe slightly larger than our bathrooms nowadays. Like only a bed can fit, and you can not stand and pray there. This is the person who has been not so successful if you think about it, like he has never been like a Roman king or anything, even close to it. He was still sleeping on the floor. That's the person that we are talking about. So success, what success? Taqwa is then, as much as I am aware of, God consciousness comes in that redefines what I am, who I am in this life, what is my purpose in this life. And then the fire that would otherwise burn me or burns people like me is not going to burn me. Yes.
On top of not burning you, it also becomes coolness, giving you the pleasure almost. Why I'm saying this because when we talk about our desires, naturalistic, the interpretation would be, okay, then we should just suppress our desires, as if this is the message you're giving today. The whole message is work on your desires, just try to silence them. But the Quranic teaching says no, they are there for a reason as well. Like going back to the previous page, if you don't mind. That is one of the signs of Allah, so that they may hate you. So all these things that you read, so they being tricked, realizing their nakedness, and being offered with their garment of the Taqwa, these were all plan of the Creator. In your case as well, all your desires that you fall into, these are there for a reason. They become coolness for you, rather than leading you astray, becomes your way to reaching your Lord. When you wear, as you said, the garment of Taqwa, how it works, with your consciousness of your weakness, your neediness. Every time you want something more, and the society, pushes you to wanting it more, you say, okay, I wanted more, but I'm conscious. So for this need as well, I will go to my Lord and seek for protection. With every new desire, every new burning desire, you will get closer and closer to your Lord. You will be more and more afraid. Fear of God will kick in, more afraid of losing the track. And you will be praying more and more to be protected. Or to be satisfied with his need, but from him. Always from him. So every new desire that you realize give you a new reason for worship, for asking from him.
Yeah, for coolness and bardan wa salaman. So it is going to give me this coolness and also security in there. Like it will give me the peace.
What is the alternative with your desires? You will try to find out some leaves to cover them.
Mm-hmm.
But when you do that instead, the garment of taqwa, you are in a cool, like I'm just playing with the words, but you will be a cool situation that you will not be affected by that. You say that, okay, I need this, but this need is there for me to ask for money. And when you see other people trying to cover themselves with the leaves, oh, I need to publish more, I need to start such a business, I need to do this, I need to do that. You'll say, okay, whatever I have is much better.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in peace, salam, compared to this chaos that living.
May Allah make us clothe ourselves with this clothing of taqwa. And Imam Nursi mentions there the clothing of taqwa that is viewed in the like bench of Quran, like how the benches, there are benches that weave clothing, like the fabric. It says Quran weaves this clothing for you. So which sort of fabric shall I use? Which company shall I buy it from? Where am I going to make this clothing? So Quran produces this sort of garment. So go to Quran's, if you like, mall to buy this clothing of taqwa. And the best example of this is then being prophetic sunnah, prophetic practices, is really how to wear such a cloth. Because with his sitting and standing, how he was treating people, he was just demonstrating how that clothing of taqwa is fashioned. So we have these two examples, because again, my student today was saying, how are we going to do that? I said, there's prophetic life. He says, oh, what, that was prophet? No, that was prophet for us to take it as an example of how that clothing appears. This is why when you go to a mall, a cloth shop, what do they have? They have mannequin that's standing in there, and you see how the cloth fits on that body. We have these people who were clothed with this clothing of taqwa, so that we can take it as an example for ourselves. May Allah make us benefit from that. May Allah make us wear this taqwa clothing. So there is also Zad al-Taqwa. I don't know if you would like to continue with this next week. The
What of taqwa is it?
Zad al-Taqwa. So it is provision of taqwa. So this is about when you go to Hajj, like the months of Hajj are well known. This is a verse about Hajj. Whoever intends to perform Hajj in these months shall abstain from sensual indulgence, wicked conduct, and quarreling, and whatever good you do, Allah knows it. Take your provisions for the pilgrimage. But in truth, the best provision is taqwa. Men of understanding have taqwa of me. So in this case, in the previous one, it was taqwa was clothing. Now it became like food. Like we can also start a food truck named Taqwa truck, or maybe a food brand as Taqwa. But what is it that we eat? Taqwa is another topic. Either we can discuss this or start with the next, a different topic next week, since this was the third week. So, and I will just like to, in case this is going to be the last week, this is the verse that is being recited in every Jummah. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. O you who believe, observe your duty to Allah with right observance, which simply is اتقوا الله حق تقاته, like be conscious of God as He truly deserves. ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون, and die not save as those who have surrendered unto Him. Like, definitely submit to Him before you die. This is in the command form, it is suggesting us to have taqwa of the Creator as He deserves. So just wanted to highlight this, leaving it open-ended here. So many verses about taqwa. We just talked about some of them, since this is a verse that keeps being recited in khutbahs, Jummah khutbahs at the end of them. So very little to think about. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم